Thank you for joining us on the weekend debate. All of last week, we've seen the parliament being washed out, completely being disrupted. Even though the Rajya Sabha chair has allowed a short discussion on the issue of Manipur violence. The chair has agreed for a discussion. So discussion and debate must happen, but has not happened primarily because the opposition has decided to disrupt while shifting their goalposts on the issue of Manipur inside parliament. But what they've also done successfully is they've landed up in Manipur today. And we have the list of those leaders, 20 of them, who've landed up in Manipur today. They include Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress Party, Gaurav Gogoi of the Congress Party, Rajiv Ranjan Singh of the JDU, Sushmita Dev of the Trinamool Congress, Kanimoli DMK, Santosh Kumar CPI, Rahim CPM, Manoj Kumar Jha RJD, Javed Ali Khan SP, Mahua Maji JMM, Mohammad Faisal NCP, Anil Prasad Hegde JDU, Mohammad Bashir IUML, Premchandran RSP, Sushil Gupta AAP, Arvind Sawant Sena, Ravi Kumar VCK, then Tirumalavan VCK, Jayan Singh RLD, Fulo Devi Netam INC. 20 of them, Shavan, they've successfully reached there, but will they come back and allow the parliament to function on Monday is the big question. Thanks for joining us on the weekend debate. I'm Niranjan. Shavan is joining us from the studios in Delhi. Shavan.
Well, in fact, what exactly is the issue that we are really talking about? We're talking about a state which has been home to one of the oldest insurgencies in South Asia, ladies and gentlemen. As far as the issue plaguing Manipur is concerned, it is not something that could have been solved overnight, given the fact that we've been witnessing violence for over 80 days. Back in February, when N. Biren Singh's government started this entire act of cracking down on illegal immigrants, and not just that, also on poppy cultivation, that essentially led to a rather further divide between the Kukis and Meithis. Now, both sides have essentially been arguing, ladies and gentlemen, that the current ruling dispensation is essentially responsible for ensuring that this divide only widens. The fact of the matter is that the peace process is already underway, and it is fragile to say the least. And at a time when the opposition leaders have now landed up in Imphal, which they could have, what's important to point out here is that could also perhaps at some stage derail this entire process, the entire peace process, which, as I mentioned, is extremely fragile. That's the weekend debate that we're going to focus on, the issues plaguing Manipur and also the politics behind it.
इंडिया अलायंस मणिपुर के विभिन्न शिविरों में गए हैं ताकि हम लोगों का दर्द और लोगों की क्या इच्छा है वो हम और बेहतर तरीके से जान पाएं।
20-member opposition delegation visit relief centers in violence-hit Manipur. Ministry of Home Affairs begins biometric collection of Myanmar refugees camping in Manipur detention center.
Security is very important. There is instability not only in our neighboring country but in our border state. Then that instability is bad for our overall national security.
Former army chief says foreign hand in Manipur unrest cannot be ruled out. Maharashtra ATS and NIA investigate 2 terror modules in Maharashtra, 9 terror suspects picked up.
Corruption and the dynastic politics. If you look at the whole of our country, if you look at where corruption and dynastic politics started, it comes to DMK.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin calls BJP Padyatra rally of sins as face-off over DMK files escalates in Tamil Nadu. BJP revamps team for 2024. Anil Antony and Bandi Sanjay gets national role.
fact that Manipur is an old problem, there is an old existing issue in Manipur which has seen violence over the years and decades, is true. When a former army chief, Shawan, goes on record and says there is a foreign hand that he has observed via his forces and his experience in Manipur with countries like China arming insurgent groups, you can't just dismiss that. You have to let a serious debate happen in Parliament. Today, when we are reporting on the ground in Manipur, we're also seeing that in the hundreds and thousands, there are people who cross the border and come into Manipur. These are illegal immigrants who are being checked as we speak. We even went to one of those camps, Shawan. It's a very serious issue that the opposition is not ready to debate in Parliament.
Well, in fact, there are deep fault lines that do exist when it comes to Manipur and several other northeastern states, and it is important for the larger audience to understand that there are larger complexities that one has to deal with. For instance, we are talking about the ruling junta in Myanmar, who has carried on a crackdown on the Kuki-Chin tribe, which is essentially led to a lot of them moving into the Indian side. The FMR has also raised rather larger concerns given the fact that there are illegal immigrants, which, let's not forget, the Kukis essentially say is perhaps an excuse given by the N. Biren Singh for carrying out what they call ethnic cleansing. But the fact of the matter is that the government says that there is already a peace framework that is being crafted at this point in time. This at a time when the I.N.D.I.A delegation present in Manipur, are they essentially trying to politicize this matter? And can one play politics over an issue as sensitive as Manipur? Over 160 lives that have been lost, more than 9,000 have been displaced, and only the last 80 days. Is it not time for the opposition to come together with the government and then find a solution to the violence? Ladies and gentlemen, it has taken one viral video for the opposition to finally wake up and smell the coffee. But this particular conflict that we are talking about has been going on for several months put together, something that Republic Media Network had also highlighted. But why exactly has the opposition woken up now, and why exactly has the ruling dispensation completely failed in controlling the situation? Take a look at this report and then we begin the weekend debate.
A delegation of 20 MPs from INDIA bloc are in Manipur, meeting the victims of the violence.
इंडिया अलायंस मणिपुर के विभिन्न शिविरों में गए हैं ताकि हम लोगों का दर्द और लोगों की क्या इच्छा है वो हम और बेहतर तरीके से जान पाएं।
आज मणिपुर को हीलिंग की जरूरत है। हीलिंग की जुबान नहीं बोली जा रही है। हमारा पूरा डेलीगेशन जो 21 लोगों का है वो हीलिंग के लिए आया है और कुछ नहीं, ताकि भरोसा हो कि शांतिपूर्ण सहअस्तित्व के अलावा कोई विकल्प नहीं है।
रिलीफ कैंप में आए हैं ऑल इंडिया अलायंस के जितना सांसदगण हैं, और ये तय है कि मणिपुर में सिचुएशन इम्प्रूव नहीं हो रही। बात एक तरफ तो गोलियां चल रही हैं और दूसरी तरफ इतने बुजुर्ग, महिलाएं, बच्चे, स्टूडेंट्स जो रिलीफ कैंप में हैं, ये कब घर वापस जाएंगे इनको नहीं पता, इनका घर जला दिया गया है।
The situation in Manipur continues to remain sensitive, with hundreds still in relief camps.
कुकी मिलिटेंट लिबरेशन ने मैतई को मई 3 से अटैक करते रहते हैं, लेकिन हमारा मैतई सोसाइटी ने हाथ नहीं लगाया। वो लोग उन्हें इंटेंशनली और सडनली कहीं जगह से बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट किया है। हमारा मैतई का घर, सभी घर जला दिया।
As protests grow over alleged narco-terrorism and insurgency in Manipur, central government is trying to plug illegal infiltration.
The collection of biometrics is very, very crucial as far as these legal immigrants are concerned. There are 103 people whose biometrics will be collected, and out of this 103, there are 34 people who have been already declared as foreigners by the court. They are awaiting deportation.
At a time when efforts are being made for peace and rehabilitation, the government is viewing the opposition delegation visit as mere politics.
इनके अपनी सरकार जब थी यूपीए के समय और ये कांग्रेस की सरकार के समय 300 से ज़्यादा लोगों की हत्याएं हो गई। 6-6 महीने तक मणिपुर बंद रहता था। पेट्रोल डीजल के दाम आसमान छूते थे, रसोई गैस के सिलेंडर नहीं मिलते थे, और फिर भी कांग्रेस के नेता सदन में आकर नहीं बोलते थे। ना गृह मंत्री, ना प्रधानमंत्री, ना यूपीए की चेयरपर्सन उस
Shouldn't politicians rise above politics to find a solution to Manipur crisis? Let's debate.
And joining us on the weekend debate are Sardar R.P. Singh of the BJP, Xavier Rodriguez, senior journalist, Lokesh Jindal of the Congress Party, Ravula Sridhar Reddy of the BRS, Dr. Piyush Joshi leans towards the Aam Aadmi Party, and Parimal Kumar of the JDU. Now, interestingly, Shravan, we just had some videos come in of a victim reportedly from the Meitei community in the Moirang relief camp narrating how the violence started in Churachandpur. Spoke before the opposition parliamentary delegation. This happened about an hour ago. We'll have those videos coming in from there. We'll play those videos out. But first up, my question is to Ravula Sridhar Reddy. Actually, before Ravula is not part of the INDIA bloc yet. So let me start with Lokesh Jindal. Lokesh Jindal, the Rajya Sabha chair has agreed to a discussion repeatedly over the last 1 week, has said we are ready for a short discussion on the subject. It has been allowed in Parliament, right? Your no confidence motion has also been allowed in Parliament. Now, why are you not debating this issue in Parliament and going to Manipur? Because before you respond, because before these 20 MPs of the INDIA bloc went to Manipur, a few MPs from Trinamool Congress separately also went to Manipur. There were other MPs who also went to Manipur. A now disqualified MP also went to Manipur. So how is this visit any different, or what are you planning to achieve as a group when all the constituents mostly have already visited Manipur?
See, the Manipur conflict is very complex. More than 50,000 people have been displaced. And to tell it very frankly, to tell it very straightforward, the Meiteis versus Kukis conflict, it has different narrations. Some of the narrations have been that the police was not doing its job, the state government failed to do what was necessary. It is important that the leadership must get the primary information from those who have suffered the worst from the violence. It is only via them that the exact cause of the violence could be understood, the nature of this conflict could be better understood, and all their voices could be taken to the parliament. It's a welcome step. I repeat, it is a welcome step. BJP, rather than criticizing the opposition leaders, must welcome it, because only when the opposition leaders, they reach out to the people of Manipur, they could have, please let me complete. It is only when opposition reaches out to the people of Manipur,
from the BJP too, answer a simple question.
Also,
okay, you've made your point. Okay, can you answer? Can you give me a direct answer? If you are welcoming all of this, what stops you from actually allowing the government to have a debate on this very sensitive issue, a complex issue, as you have already admitted, in the parliament, and let the government respond? And if the response that comes in from the government is not satisfactory in nature, you have full right to corner the government, but at least allow them to at least make their position clear.
Yes. See, there are three important points. Number one, the government failed to act proactively. There was a delayed response and intelligence failure. Secondly, even while the violence was on, the government, the center, it did not take adequate measures and allowed the entire conflict to turn into a disaster. Third is, there is lack of information, data, facts available with respect to the nature of conflict. There is still speculation. I mean, recently the Army General, he has given his opinion that we cannot rule out foreign hand. It is more than we are almost reaching the third month of this particular conflict. We are completing the third month of the conflict, but still the government at the center is clueless.
Okay.
On what topics do you want the parliament to debate? We cannot simply play the blame game and resort to petty politics. It is important that there must be a meaningful discussion. The plight of cookies, Metis, all those who are involved, it must be taken duly, it must be duly considered, and a solution must be arrived at.
You have, Lokesh, you have highlighted where the government has fallen short. Fair enough, you could do that. And I'll take this question to Sardar RP Singh. Sardar RP Singh, before you respond to what Lokesh Jindal of the Congress Party had to say, I have a few direct questions to you on this entire issue. Whenever any of the opposition members are really talking about Manipur, you basically go back to the same old response that what is happening in Chhattisgarh, what is happening in Rajasthan, what is happening in West Bengal. Fair enough, that's a question to be asked. But the fact of the matter is that we don't see the same delegation actually going. The BJP sending a delegation right now. Let's not forget, for a moment, if you were not in power in Manipur, I'm sure you would have sent a delegation. So what is making you so very unnerved with an opposition parties coming together and sending their members to Manipur to get a sense of what's really happening on the ground?
Sharon, the wounds are still raw. And they need to be healed, not scratched, not salt to be rubbed on them. And when people go there, they keep asking them the same questions, and it's not helping people there on ground. The law and order has to be managed by the state, and state is doing whatever the best it can do. For Mr. Jindal's information, for almost more than 22 days, the state home minister was there on ground. Unlike, I sorry to do that, but unlike earlier times, when State Home Minister in 1993 just went for a day, few hours only, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, out of which 1 hour he spent with the State Chief Minister's residence for a lunch, and then at the airport, and then came back. And in 2012, more than 4 lakh people were displaced and more than 400 people were killed in Assam. Who answered that? And Prime Minister happened to hail from Assam only. He was the Rajya Sabha member from Assam. And did the Prime Minister give the answer in the Parliament? But that's not the issue. Issue is that when we are prepared to discuss the issue in Parliament, the person who is in charge of the complete affair, who is hands down with the affair, is the Home Minister of the country. And also, he is in charge of the Northeast. He has written categorically stating that let's come and discuss the subject. And then he has written a letter to both the leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha and in Lok Sabha. Let's just discuss the subject. But, well, they don't want to discuss the subject. They want to make political brownie point out of it, and they're probably targeting, their objective is to launch their new coalition format by this means. All the best to them, but people can see through it. People, give me another second. People can give me another second. People can see through it. And also, in 1993, when Manipur was burning, I have a document from Rajya Sabha.
No, because you asked, you know, if you talk everything, then what question will I ask? 1 minute, I have a question to ask. Because you were on 1993, I wanted to ask a question. Question to all three, okay? Not Lokesh Jindal, he's already spoken. I'm not giving him another chance right now. Ravula, Dr. Piyush Joshi, Parimal. Okay, I have a simple question. Do you think that the 3 months, May, June, July, 3 months is the longest tenure of violence seen in Manipur? You think it's the longest?
I think that.
Okay.
Of course, yes. Manipur violence is the worst ever violence.
Sir, can I tell you, Mr. Parimal, because you were very confident, let me also tell you that you're wrong. It's not the longest. I'll tell you when was the longest. In 1993, Manipur burned for 8 months. 8. And do you know how many people died, sir? I'll give all three of you a chance. Any of you can go. Parimal or Piyush or or
Niranjan.
Ravula?
Why you are
Niranjan.
130, sir. No, I'm not telling. I'm not building a case. No, 1 minute. I'm not building a case. I am not building a case for them. He will argue. He will argue himself. I'm not building a case for him. I am not building a case for him, sir.
Witness the complete failure of the central government as well as state government.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Niranjan.
Sir, hear me out.
We have not taken any
Parimal ji.
Niranjan.
Yes.
Parimal ji, I'll add one more point. It's an observation from the data that I have, and then you can argue it with whoever you like. You can argue it with Savio.
Actually,
No, hear me out.
You cannot.
Hear me out. Sir, I have a bad throat. I can't shout today. I have a bad throat. Hear me, sir. Please. I have a bad throat, sir. I can't shout. One last point. So then Home Minister, then MOS Home, Rajesh Pilot went to Manipur for 3.5 hours, of which 1 hour was spent over lunch at the Chief Minister's residence, so effectively 2.5 hours. After 8 months of violence.
What are you trying to?
No. I'm asking. So on that day, that's what he just said.
What is your point?
What is my point? Okay, I think my point was to Parimal sir. Parimal ji is intelligent enough to understand that. You can now debate it with Savio. No. You have double standards for violence, double standards for democracy, double standards for freedom of speech. So Parimal Yadav and Savio can debate it. Parimal Yadav and Savio.
I fail to understand your point.
Parimal Yadav and
what is the point?
Parimal Yadav and Savio can debate it.
The central government should take the responsibility of the failure of the constitutional machinery and law and order situation in Manipur. What happened? You see, BJP at the center and also particularly in the state, it is the ruling party along with the local patriotic Kuki people's front. Okay. Actually, the incident witnessed the killing of more than 300 people and more displacement of more than 60,000 people. And still, several people are living in the rehabilitation camp. It means particularly condition is not normal there. But actually, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not feeling it necessary to give a statement in the Rajya Sabha or particularly in the Lok Sabha in this context. He given a statement actually ending for only 36 seconds and 3 lines.
Can I get a word in?
Actually, I want to raise the question.
I agree, sir. You have a valid point. Sir, you have a Parimal ji, you have a valid point. No. Let me step in and quickly and toss it to Savio. 1 minute, sir. So I know you can go on. But please let another. I'll let you speak again. Sir, I'll let you speak again. Got your point. Sir, got your point. Limited point. I got your point. Now let Savio respond. My question was, Savio, the reason why I asked them the question was not to compare violence in 90s versus violence in 2023. No, that's not the point. Sir, 1 minute, sir, let me speak. Now, I'm trying to hand it to Savio and then I will let you speak again. Okay, my point was, I'm adding to that. In 2011, Manipur faced blockade for 123 days, okay, for 4 months. There was a blockade in Manipur, okay? And all that happened was a short-term discussion, exactly what the Rajya Sabha chair has agreed for now, a short-term discussion. And even when that short-term discussion did happen in 2011 in Parliament, the Prime Minister who was in the House back then in 2011 left the Parliament midway. Now with this kind of a record, my question is, with this kind of a record, can the same opposition... Sir, Parimal ji, you do one thing, sir. I have a bad throat. You come and sit in my chair and you take over my job, sir. You will be able to ask the questions better. No, let him speak. Let Savio speak. So my question was, with that kind of a record, can the opposition really make the demands that it is making? Savio.
What is the problem with?
Savio, sir.
Okay. Niranjan, Mr. Parimal, let me just put a perspective to the conflict that is happening in Manipur as a journalist and somebody who works on peace works, right? So there are 5 problems in Manipur and let the country know about it. The first is poppy cultivation and the war of drugs which was started by the Manipur government. The second is illegal migrants from Myanmar. The third was the decisions on reserve forest and the tree plantation drives of the Manipur government. The fourth was the eviction notices to churches and the demolition drive that was against illegal structures, which some within the church community were affected by because 188 structures were regularized. And number 5, the most important conflict area is the demand for a separate Kuki land. Now, these are complex conflict problems that you and I, while we can discuss it in a debate on television, the ground level of that situation is completely different and extremely volatile. So we need to understand. Let me take you back to May 3rd. There was a peaceful protest that was called out by a certain section of the tribes with regards to the High Court decision. That was supposed to be a peaceful protest. But do you all know what happened around 6:30 in the night? There was the Anglo-Kuki Centenary Gate that was burned down, which is actually the trigger to the current violence which continues for the 86th day today. So we are dealing with a very volatile situation, whether it is the BJP government now or it would have been the Congress government or any government. It would have not been easy for anybody right now to deal with the situation, which is why it is essential for all of us to collectively understand the nuances of the conflict in Manipur. The nuances of the conflict in Manipur are two tribes of people who think they are against each other because of certain decisions that were taken by the Manipur government, which was not really against them, but they believe that it's against them. And then you have the Maitis and the Kukis completely giving themselves up to the anger because each side has brought violence into the game. So when you bring violence into the conflict, sanity goes outside the window and insanity prevails. And that's exactly what is happening. So my advice to everybody talking about Manipur is please understand the conflict before you give your wisdom. Because a conflict is not easy. It is going to take us a couple of months to resolve it.
Okay, Shawan.
One aspect that is missing here.
Supports the very point that I made.
Lokesh, 1 second. Lokesh, wait for your turn. Lokesh, wait for your turn. Shawan is saying something.
Respond. Perhaps I'll take this question to... 1 second. Lokesh, I'll give you the chance to respond. I'll bring in Mr. Ravula of the BRS also on this point. But one aspect, Savio, that we are missing as far as this entire issue is concerned, that is with regards to several decisions that have essentially only won the debate or the divide between the Kukis and the Metis, and the very fact that you don't have any of the Metis cannot basically move to the hill area, the Kukis cannot come into the valley area, and that has essentially led to a situation where they say that there is a political imbalance too. If you see in terms of the number, the representation as far as the Metis are concerned is much
absolutely, that's what I'm
Kukis.
saying.
There is a larger problem that exists, and that cannot perhaps cannot be solved overnight. But
that's
Mr.
what I'm
Ravula,
saying.
Let me take this question. Let me take this question to you.
No, it cannot. But Shawan, may I please make a point?
Add to the point.
May I please make a point?
You've pretty much summarized.
That are talking about religious.
Yeah.
Niranjan and Akshay.
Well, I don't know why exactly would the religious angle be brought in and why try and communalize this entire issue. But Mr. Ravula, let me take this question to you too before we actually play out one of the victims speaking a short while back from the relief camp narrating what really happened in Churachandpur. We'll play that out in a short while from now. But Mr. Ravula, let me take this question to you. Why did it take one horrific video for the opposition to really wake up? Because this particular issue started back in the month of February, obviously aggravated with that entire, instruction that was actually given to the state government with regards to the recommendation that was made for reservation for the Metis. But why did the opposition parties really not wake up earlier? Of course, you can raise your questions as far as action or inaction on the part of the government. But where was the opposition all these months, and why did it take one viral video to wake them up? Was this some sort of an opportunism because you knew that the session was round the corner, and perhaps this was actually this would have given you some sort of an impetus?
Shravan, your statement
because of the new formation now, Shravan. Because of the new formation now. Earlier it was UPA, now it's a new formation, and then we want to launch a new formation.
Sardar RP Singh, I'll give you the chance. You could respond. Sardar RP Singh, you could respond after Mr. Ravula comes.
Very small point.
Mr. Ravula, the reason why I ask you this, Mr. Ravula, the reason why I ask you this, for many of us who come from the northeastern states, one second, Mr. Ravula, there's a reason why I'm asking you this. For many of us who actually come from the northeastern states, for a very, very long time, we've only seen politics being played over us. No one has really understood the complexities that we face. I come from the state of Meghalaya, which has seen insurgency for the longest time. And today, when we are talking about Manipur, we are forgetting about the fact that this was the home to one of the oldest insurgencies in entire South Asia, Mr. Ravula. The question here is, when the opposition parties wants to visit, fair enough. Correct. You can go, raise concerns. But where were you all this while?
Shravan, it is surprising to see this kind of argument that where is the opposition? It is the responsibility of the ruling government.
I've asked the question. No, don't blame me, Mr. Ravula. I've asked the question of Sardar RP Singh.
I'm not trying to blame you.
Let's not get into that narrative that I am asking the wrong question. I have asked the same question to Sardar RP Singh when I began the debate. So I'm asking you a simple question. Were you or were you not there? Were you there right from the month of February?
We are all there, but the severity of the situation has come to the knowledge of the entire country once this video is out. And we were speaking, but the situation has come to a state where you can understand the law and order situation is completely worsened with that video. Even that video comes out, before that, the Honorable Home Minister of this country was there camping in the state for 4 days. Even then, the issue was not coming into the light. But the question here is, after 86 days, first the job of the central government or the government there in the state to control the situation there, control the law and order there first. And when you are speaking about 90s, 80s and current situation, within 2-3 sections, there is a fight, there are reasons, but whose responsibility is it? Since Congress could not handle it properly, today you are in the government, NDA is in government for the past 9 years. Whose responsibility was that? The question here is, how could this situation get worsened? Who is responsible? The first and foremost thing on hand is to control the situation. Then automatically all these things will be lined up. Today opposition has gone there to see the plight. Instead, actually, the central government would have taken a all-party delegation there to restore the confidence in the people of Manipur, irrespective of the section they belongs to. Number one. Number two, I'm surprised to see Anurag Singh's statement. So, once they come back, we will question this and, will they support the violence in their own state? Nobody will support violence in any of the part of the country.
Yeah, but in that case,
whether, somebody is in Bengal, somebody in another state, nobody will support the violence.
Rahula, tell me one thing. Rahula, tell me one thing. Okay, I take your point. I take your point, and let me tell you one thing. If there's one channel that's spoken tough against what has happened in Manipur, has been Republic TV. We have questioned the government and the state government, the chief minister, everyone about how they allowed this to come to this. Okay, we have. My question to you is on the last point that you made on what is wrong with the opposition going to Manipur. I am asking you, in the span of 1 month, 50 people died. In 1 day, 30 people died in Bengal. I'm just telling you an example. We covered it on Republic TV. In 1 day, 30 people died. Panchayat violence, right? Why is it that, one minute. Why is it that these so-called opposition delegations, right? Now they've gone there with a different nomenclature. They're there for exactly 1.5 days. I'll tell you what they'll do in 1.5 days, okay? In 1.5 days, there's a 15-minute visit to Chura Chandpur relief camp, 25-minute visit to Lamboy Kongang Khang relief camp, and the second half of the delegation is going to another camp. How will they get to know the entire extent of the Kuki Maitai complexities in 1.5 days? Now, coming back to the point. Similarly, why didn't any of these opposition parties / blocks go to Bengal? Just a question.
And a straight point to this, actually, my answer is whether it is Bengal or Manipur or any other state, if there is a violence took place, every party, in whichever the fashion they responded to Manipur violence would have responded. There is absolutely no doubt about it. There should not be any preferences over it. My this thing is whether it is 1.5 days or 2 days. End of the day, opposition has gone there. Why this central government? Why Is it not appropriate on the part of the Honorable Prime Minister to visit the Manipur state? Is it not essential? Even after 150 people died, more than 17-20 people missing.
Okay, that's a question you can ask, but Piyush Joshi, I'm getting in Piyush Joshi also. Okay, that's a question you can ask. Piyush Joshi.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, Piyush Joshi and then RP. Piyush Joshi and then RP.
Yeah, when I look at Manipur, it is a very, very sensitive situation. And for once, I do agree with Savio. It is a rarity, but I do agree. It's a very, very sensitive state. Almost all of the whole of the northeast is basically a very sensitive area and has been prone to insurgency. And international conspiracies are not new to that particular area, particularly China and Myanmar. So we know about all that. But having said that, what actually worries me is the appalling administrative failure on the part of the Manipur government and the central government. There's a yawning gap in the legal actions. There are 2 months, 70 days, 80 days delay in registering the FIRs, that too after the videos have been resurfaced. It is not only an issue of the violence against women, but it is an issue of ethnic violence. So when we compare electoral violence against a race-based violence, the scene actually is quite different, and that is why Manipur
how can you
more
differentiate
attention.
that? I'm sorry, but how can you make that distinction? Race-based violence versus political violence. I mean, I think political violence would be even worse because it's sanctioned.
Look,
parties are directly responsible.
No, what I'm just trying to say, the violence of any kind is bad, but electoral violence and the racist violence, because the racist violence basically
violence is violence.
Ethnic cleansing, that is against two political parties taking.
Mr. Joshi.
Absolutely, Savio, I agree. Violence is violence, and no violence is good.
I didn't understand electoral violence. I didn't understand electoral violence.
You justify violence.
No, then probably, we need to understand the things better, and that is why when I said that I agree with Savio, because he actually summarized the whole point of the ethnic nature of the violence in a very beautiful manner. That's why I started by saying it's a sensitive issue, and that's why we have seen the violence. You yourself started by saying in 1993 the violence lasted for 8 months. So this is the kind of violence that lasts for months altogether, years altogether, because the fire is continuously simmering, because there is a tremendous amount of hatred against the other race, and that is why this issue is different than the issues of Bengal, Chhattisgarh, and Rajasthan, and that's the limited point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
The third point which worries me is the deafening silence of the Honorable Prime Minister on the issue. And when he speaks, he tries to generalize the issue. Yes, only for 35 seconds, and he spoke in the same breath about Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. The fourth thing is that the problem is when you see the collective statements coming from the BJP's ministers and the deflecting tactics of the union ministers, one wonders what is their action plan for solving this problem. Because ultimately what the country wants is an action plan. What is the government's plan? You can always, call for an all-party meeting at the highest level. They explain to the opposition leaders and explain your plan that this is how we are going to solve the problem.
See, now
it's as simple as that.
Now let me put it this way, and Shravan can tell me, because Shravan has covered the Northeast. He's from the Northeast, and Savio spoke about it. Now the narrative, okay, and it's wrong. This narrative is wrong, but the narrative has been. Shravan, tell me if I'm wrong. The narrative has been Maitais have been getting the support of the government, and cookies are being victimized, and there is nobody speaking up or standing up for them. Is that correct, Shravan? Is that the right way to put it, or is that a very?
We should refrain from such narrative.
Exactly.
We should refrain from such narrative.
That's what I'm. The point why I said that is because it's wrong. Well, it's a wrong narrative.
That has existed.
And there's a video also, Shravan. I wanted to lead into the video, Shravan. You can take it from there. You can take it from there. I wanted to lead into the video. You can take it from there.
Niranjan, let me correct you over here. I have a point to make.
Just one thing that I would like to
add. 1 second, hold on.
Niranjan, I have a point to.
Lokesh, hold on. He's playing the video. After that, you can.
Just
let him play the video.
Perhaps
let Shravan play the video, and then you can.
Sardar RP Singh can respond to this after we play out the.
Yeah.
Lokesh, just give me a minute. I'm saying Sardar RP Singh can also respond to what I'm saying right now after we play out this video. The only thing that I wanted to add to this entire issue, Niranjan, the point here is that the cookies have been saying that when you bring in this entire idea of illegal immigrants you're only carrying out what they've been saying, an ethnic cleansing. And that's where the government finds itself perhaps on a sticky wicket. That may not be true, or perhaps the government, in fact, if you hear what the Chief Minister of Manipur has to say, he says various schemes have been launched by his government, which has only been towards the cookies, for the welfare of the cookies, and he has listed out several of them. That may not have had its impact, or may have had its impact, is something that Sardar RP thinks should be telling us. But let's just play out one video that has now come in. This is of a victim speaking about what really transpired in Churachandpur, and this was in a relief camp when the opposition parties were visiting. Listen.
Actions taken up by the state government, like the implementation of NRC and illegal immigrants to be evicted since they are staying in reserve forest areas. Yes, and more than 15,400 acres of the land in Manipur was utilized for poppy plantation. With this, the Kuki militants are strongly against the Meitei. But why? Why the Meitei? What is our fault in it? Why not ask the government? Why not stand against the government? But why burn our houses, destroy our future, everything? We are youth. We are staying there at our village, at our home with full emotion. With emotions, we have been staying there for more than 80,000 and thousands of years. Churachandpur was taken from the king Maharaja Churachand during the reign of him from 1891 to 1941. Churachandpur got its name from Churachand Maharaj. Now the majority, the dominant in Churachandpur were Meiteis. But so far during our stay there, we never tried to carry out such violence against them. But now, all of a sudden, due to the illegal immigrants from Myanmar and Burmese, they are uniting together and making us homeless. We are residing there for more than thousands and thousands of years during our forefathers, during our ancestors. But now, it's like we don't belong here. No effective actions taken by the government, by the central government. Why not take this issue up in the parliament earlier? But why bring it up only after the viral video? Why? And with the consent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, why he bring up that viral video only? But prior to that, an old woman, an old lady called, is the wife of a freedom fighter from Suklu. Was it from Suklu? From Sero. She was burned alive in her home. Why not bring up that issue? If they are totally against crime against women, why not bring up that? Not just that. On the night of Tharne, on the 4th of May, on the 4th of May, on the 5th of May, most of the victims are still stuck in Churachandpur. Most of the villages are stuck there. There are rape victims. Churachandpur, Meitei women were being raped. But why don't you stand out? Because we are scared for our future. We are scared because we are women. We want to save our future. That's why we don't stand out. If you want the evidence, carry out medical tests for each and every woman.
Okay.
And why not? Have the Meitei ever started burning the houses of cookies? Have we ever attacked them? They were the first one to burn our houses, to destroy our houses, to ruin our futures. They destroy everything. We stayed there with a hope. Lots of future, building up lots of future. Our parents taking care of us, sending us to schools, hoping that we'll become officers, we'll take care of the family someday. To run a family is not an easy thing. They have been building up that for more than 50 years. Everything was destroyed. And if they are still asking for the evidence that the Meitei burned the houses of the cookies, why not use the satellite? They can prove it, everything. Why not use it? Why is the government still not effective even after 89 days?
So the point was you can't really bring it down to this cookie versus Mai Tai kind of a narrative, Shravan. That is why I brought this point up, because it's really wrong. Because both sides have suffered, and the kind of crimes that it's unspeakable, right?
Correct.
And RP Singh people, and that girl was right.
Make a small point.
No, that girl was right. She said before the viral video came out, nobody spoke about Manipur. Nobody spoke about Manipur, RP Singh. You'll agree, nobody spoke about Manipur.
No, we were always
who would have spoken about Manipur?
I never interrupted
RP Singh and then Lokesh.
RP Singh. Okay.
Can I make a point, Niranjan?
Yeah, Savio. Let RP come in and then I'll get you.
Thank you. Niranjan, for almost 22 days, the State Home Minister was there trying to build up the bridges between the two communities and try to get law and order in place. And that's the reason that today more than 80% schools are open, and then almost more than 72%, as per exact data, 72% government employees are back to work. But that the issue is, again, there's a problem, we understand, but the Matthys woman, they burnt and they broke the house of the person who was the culprit in that video, and he happened to be Mathai, and then it was a Mathai woman who burnt the house of that person. So it's not only that it's really ethnic, it's something more than that, and it is drugs also. There is which is infiltration also. But again, we have to put balm on this for a while, and so that things can go ahead and then soothe down. See that how that woman is crying, how that woman is explaining her pain to the member parliaments who have gone there. So is this going to help now? I don't know. What will the ultimate outcome of this when these people, when the member parliament leave from there? What will it leave this set of people with? What mindset it will leave them with? But I'm hopeful that it should leave with some positive mindset. But again, on Monday, when it comes to the parliament, I still appreciate they should discuss the issue and then try to pass a joint resolution by the complete parliament saying, let's pass a joint resolution for bringing calm and peace to the parliament. And then again, Prime Minister never said that he would not speak in the parliament. It is the Home Minister who said, let me start with it, and then need be, as I understand, if need be, Prime Minister can always intervene. But they have made it an issue of, oh, no, let the Prime Minister start it. Let the Prime Minister answer it. I quoted you instances where Prime Minister from the same state, from the Assam, and Assam was burning, and then more than 100 people died and 4 lakh people were displaced. He never answered a question in the parliament for that. All that would happen in the Assam. But because give me another second. Because the answerability is the collective answerability of the cabinet. Even if one cabinet minister answers, it means it's the complete cabinet which is answering, and the complete cabinet which is responsible for his answer, whatever is answering or whatever is deliberating. So let's not get into this point of Prime Minister answering or why Home Minister is speaking. Sir, let the Home Minister answer your questions, and that will help to soothe the issue.
Sir, may I make a point?
Let's just get a quick word.
And I hope, Lokesh, you won't make it political.
Lokesh, Sardar RP Singh has already made it very clear. 1 minute. Lokesh, just hear me out. You can respond to what Sardar RP Singh had to say. The fact of the matter is that if you're really so concerned about Manipur, then why not, as Sardar RP Singh is also saying, that why don't you actually work towards finding a solution? The government has already indicated that there are peace talks that are underway. In fact, that was under the wraps for a very long time. And as I understand, the government wants to come on record with regards to what is the roadmap ahead. Why would you actually then look at only politicking on this entire matter? Because you want to score some goals. There could be other matters on which you can, score your own brownie points. But the fact of the matter is that this is way too sensitive for any political party, be it the Bharatiya Janata Party or, for that matter, any of the opposition parties, to really politicize. Why don't you, in the days to come when the parliament is still on, allow the government to make its point, and then you could respond to it?
The question is, the
make a point.
Ruling government could have acted more mature rather than mocking the delegation going to Manipur, calling it a political tourism. It could have welcomed that step, and it could have facilitated a greater exchange of this delegation with the people of Manipur so that more information could be made available, more approach could be possible so that understanding could be clearer and things could be discussed more effectively in the parliament. Why this form of a hatred towards opposition? I don't understand. Why is it that you see...
Well, opposition could have asked for all-party delegation also. They only went for the only opposition delegation.
I did not interject, sir. I did not interject. Please let me complete my point. The opposition, which is, even if it appeals something which is against the government, it is being portrayed as anti-national. Now, that is something which is very wrong. They must understand that over here, the opposition has done the right thing. With the entire opposition going and reaching out to the people of Manipur, the government, it could facilitate this reach out to the people of Manipur. A greater enabling mechanism could be put into place and more information could be made available to them so that a meaningful discussion can take place in the parliament. Secondly, why we want the Prime Minister to address the entire parliament is because the parliamentary form of democracy, it is based upon collective responsibility.
But he's bound to respond now, no?
Now,
because
we do
of
not
no
have
confidence
individual
motion.
responsibility.
Correct
in
me if
India.
I'm wrong, but he's bound to. He's going to speak on the issue.
Allow him to.
He's going to speak. I mean, he will have to speak.
Because
I have to. I've run out of time, Lokesh. Lokesh, I've completely run out of time.
They never allowed him to speak.
I completely run out of time only because of. Okay. I promise, Savio, 10 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Piyush, 10 seconds. Savio, 10 seconds. I don't have time. 10 seconds. Savio, 10 seconds.
We need to be
okay, so the most important thing we need to remember.
Okay, one of you go first, otherwise we're wasting time.
The most important thing we need to remember. The most important thing we need to remember was there is a deliberate attempt to burn down 317 churches and 31 temples.
Okay.
Please understand what is going on.
Got it. Piyush.
I'm just saying. Yeah, Savio, just let me finish.
Piyush, go on. Savio, 1 second. Running out of time. Piyush.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we need to be talking about peaceful cohabitation and unity in diversity.
Yeah.
These are the two concepts that we have forgotten since the BJP has. BJP.
Okay, fine. Got your point. Okay. Ravula. 10 seconds only.
Honorable Prime Minister to step in. That is the reason why the nation wants the Honorable Prime Minister to step in and correct the situation. We understand what Savio is saying.
It's happening. Thank you very much. Shravan and me are thanking you all. Thank you very much. This is going to be a debate in the upcoming week as well, Shravan.
You could not jump from 5 meters. So he said that let me jump from 30,000 feet. ऐसे कुछ हुआ?
डर बहुत लगता था, मैं बहुत रोती थी वो बोर्ड पे, बहुत बार धक्के भी मारे लोगों ने स्विमिंग पूल में जंप करने के लिए. मैं न्यूजीलैंड गई थी एंड आई रिमेंबर द डेट 17 जनवरी 2019 सुबह 7:30 बजे. आई वाज द फर्स्ट वन इन द लोड एंड आई जंप्ड ऑन माय ओन 13,000 फीट से. ओपन माय ओन पैराशूट along with 2 instructors.
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी. मैंने जाते ही मेरे एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे. मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी. पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, देखो पुशअप्स करती है. सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट बॉल गेम. मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और जाते हो और वहाँ होता कुछ और.
टेररिस्ट अटैक था
सर.
आप उस समय कहाँ पे थी? आपने क्या देखा? आंखों देखी?
सर मैं JNK में पोस्टेड थी फ्रॉम 2018 to 2020. आई रिमेंबर ऑन 29th of February, the morning at 9:30, which was not expected, the airstrike had happened. And while I was standing out in my office, I actually saw an aircraft burst into flame in front of my own eyes. After that, somewhere it started to sink inside my head that, oh, this is something what has happened. This could have been your last day.
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी। मैंने जाते ही मैं एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे। मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी। पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, दे देखो पुशअप्स करती है, पुशअप करती है। सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था। और उसके बाद जो
अरे मणिपुर तो चले गए, मणिपुर से कई गुना ज्यादा घटनाएं बंगाल में हुई। तो कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेताओं से मैं पूछता हूं, कहां है आपकी आत्मा? अरे अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी, राहुल गांधी जी, सोनिया गांधी जी कभी बंगाल भी आएंगे? नहीं तो यहां की जनता कहेगी जब हम मर रहे थे, जब मारपीट हो रही थी, तब कांग्रेस के नेता यहां नजर नहीं आए।
टेररिस्ट अटैक था
सर।
आप उस समय कहां पे थी? आपने क्या देखा? आंखों देखी?
सर मैं JNK में पोस्टेड थी फ्रॉम 2018 to 2020. I remember on 29th of February, the morning at 9:30, which was not expected, the airstrike had happened. And while I was standing out in my office, I actually saw an aircraft burst into flame in front of my own eyes. After that, somewhere it started to sink inside my head that, oh, this is something what has happened. This could have been your last day.
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी। मैंने जाते ही मैं एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे। मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी। पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, दे देखो पुशअप्स करती है, पुशअप करती है। सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था। और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट बॉल गेम। मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और जाते हो और वहाँ होता कुछ और।
could not jump from 5 meters, so he said that let me jump from 30,000 feet. ऐसे कुछ हुआ?
डर बहुत लगता था, मैं बहुत रोती थी वो बोर्ड पे। बहुत बार धक्के भी मारे लोगों ने स्विमिंग पूल में जंप करने के लिए। मैं न्यूजीलैंड गई थी एंड आई रिमेंबर द डेट 17 जनवरी 2019 सुबह 7:30 बजे। आई वाज द फर्स्ट वन इन द लोड एंड आई जंप्ड ऑन माय ओन 13,000 फीट से।
13,000 से?
यस सर, ओपन माय ओन पैराशूट अलॉन्ग विद 2 इंस्ट्रक्टर्स।
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी। मैंने जाते ही मैं एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे। मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी। पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, दे देखो पुशअप्स करती है, पुशअप करती है। सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था। और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट बॉल गेम। मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और जाते हो और वहाँ होता कुछ और।
टेररिस्ट अटैक कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी। मैंने जाते ही मैं एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे। मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी। पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, दे देखो पुशअप्स करती है, पुशअप करती है। सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था। और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर अ डिफरेंट बॉल गेम. मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और जाते हो और वहाँ होता कुछ और.
टेररिस्ट अटैक था
सर.
आप उस समय कहाँ पे थी? आपने क्या देखा? आंखों देखी?
सर मैं JNK में पोस्टेड थी फ्रॉम 2018 to 2020. I remember on 29th of February, the morning at 9:30, which was not expected, the airstrike had happened. And while I was standing out in my office, I actually saw an aircraft burst into flame in front of my own eyes. After that, somewhere it started to sink inside my head that, oh, this is something what has happened. This could have been your last day.
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी. मैंने जाते ही मैं एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे. मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे. तभी पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, देखो पुशअप्स करती है, पुशअप करती है. सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था, और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट बॉल गेम. मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और.
Thank you for joining us here on Republic TV. I'm Niranjan. Quick check of the headlines. It's 8:30 p.m. this Saturday evening, and here are the top stories.
को हीलिंग की जरूरत है. हीलिंग की जुबान नहीं बोली जा रही है. हमारा पूरा डेलीगेशन जो 21 लोगों का है वो हीलिंग के लिए आया है और कुछ नहीं.
After blocking a debate on Manipur in Parliament for 7 days straight, INDIA delegation is now in Imphal.
और आज ये I.N.D.I.A के जो सदस्य हैं ये मणिपुर से जब वापस आए तो मेरा निवेदन है, संसद तो आप चलने नहीं देंगे तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी अपने पश्चिम बंगाल प्रदेश में भी लाइए.
Union Minister Anurag Thakur heading out in an unrelenting attack slams the opposition bloc for Manipur political tourism. That's what the government is calling. As peace talks get underway, MHA putting the focus on national security begins process to check refugees. ISIS terror module busted in Maharashtra. 4 terror suspects in custody. Was another 26/11-like attack planned?
राजस्थान की जनता गहलोत सरकार को 1 मिनट भी बर्दाश्त करने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. ये वातावरण जो हम सबको दिख रहा है उस कैंपेन में नहीं सहेगा राजस्थान का सफल आयोजन 1 तारीख को होने वाला है.
Controversy over the Red Diary expose continues. Nadda hitting out at the Gehlot government, asking what's in it and why they're nervous.
This yatra is against the corruption and the dynastic politics. If you look at whole of our country, if you look at where corruption and dynastic politics started, it comes to DMK.
Mega political face-off in Tamil Nadu. DMK countering the BJP's Padayatra with a Pavayatra attack. Ahead of the much-awaited discussion which is still pending in Parliament on the no-confidence motion moved by the opposition I.N.D.I.A alliance against the NDA government, over 20-member multi-party delegation of parliamentarians are visiting the violence-hit regions of Manipur over the weekend. From disrupting the proceedings of the House to visiting the state of Manipur at a time when peace talks are underway, the overarching feeling is that it's time for the opposition to stop playing politics and maybe just debate, and then allow a debate first in Parliament.
After disrupting the Parliament for 7 days,
causing log jam on Manipur violence. The INDIA block is in the violence-struck state.
देखिए अभी भी हम लोग कैंप में हैं, इससे साफ साफ जाहिर है कि उनका विश्वास सरकार पे नहीं है कि वो अपने घर वापस जा पाए। लगभग इसी एक ज़िले में 15,000 लोग हमको जो कहा गया है कि शिविर में हैं, तो आज भी लोगों के बीच में जो डर है, उस डर को ये सरकार निकाल नहीं पाई है।
They first visited the rioted town of Churachandpur in Manipur, where they met Kuki leaders and members of the civil society, besides ethnic strife victims in the relief camps where they were lodged.
We are with the people of the Manipur as a whole. We do not want to see any difference between any communities whosoever. Methi, Kuki, Naga, Chin, all are our brothers and sisters. Government has to put their bum so as to, restore the situation, so as to assuage the feeling. People have been living under constant fear and intimidation.
They are expected to speak to both the communities.
आप पहले रिलीफ कैंप में आए हैं, ऑल इंडिया अलायंस के जितना सांसदगण हैं, और ये तय है कि मणिपुर में सिचुएशन इम्प्रूव नहीं हो रही। बात एक तरफ तो गोलियां चल रही हैं और दूसरी तरफ इतने बुजुर्ग, महिलाएं, बच्चे, स्टूडेंट्स जो रिलीफ कैंप में हैं, ये कब घर वापस जाएंगे इनको नहीं पता, इनका घर जला दिया गया है। सो मैं ये उम्मीद करती हूँ कि सरकार अगर कहती है कि मणिपुर में सिचुएशन इम्प्रूव करना चाहती तो इनको घर भेजने का आप पहले तैयारी करिए।
The government is calling this a photo op.
बंगाल की जनता ने बता दिया है कि ममता जी आपसे जनता दुखी है, त्रस्त है। लेकिन मेरा सवाल कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेताओं से है, विपक्षी दल के कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के नेताओं से है। क्या जब उनके नेता यहाँ पर मर रहे हैं, जिनको मारा जा रहा है, मारपीट हो रही है, तो क्या कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्ट अपने कार्यकर्ताओं को बंगाल की धरती पे मरते रहने देंगे, मारपीट होने देंगे, लोकतंत्र की हत्या होने देंगे?
The peace talks between communities is gathering pace. Should the politics over Manipur stop? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
And with the government keeping a tab on the refugees from Myanmar, Republic has filed an exclusive report from a detention centre in Imphal East, where the NCRB is collecting biometrics of over 100 refugees with a focus on national security.
Now we are at the Foreigners Detention Center in Sajiwa. This is a high security detention center, and as you can see, if I can ask my video journalist Ashok to show you the surrounding, it's a very high security zone, and Republic TV is the only channel to get access inside this detention center to bring you this ground report so that we can bring you the real picture of the various threats that the state of Manipur has been facing. Let me tell you that there are more than 300 detained Myanmar nationals in the state of Myanmar, and right now at the Foreigners Detention Center in Sajiwa there are 103 Myanmarese nationals whose biometrics will be recorded today, and we will bring you the entire procedure only on Republic Media Network. We are right now at the overview watchtower of the Sajiwa Foreigners Detention Center, and you can see there are multiple number of cells that has been made out here, and in this particular enclave there are 4 dormitories, and in these 4 dormitories there are the male inmates of Myanmar who have been detained by Manipur police and have been kept in detention center. There are a total of 103 number of illegal immigrants from Myanmar who have been detained by the Manipur police over the last few years, and the enclaves or the cells inside the detention center have been divided as sector, and in sector 6 are the male inmates of the Sajiwa foreigners detention center, and in sector 2 are the female inmates of this center. The female inmates are being provided with Manipur women police officials and constables who keep a check on them, and the male inmates are locked in this particular sector. Initials from the NCRB are here, and they will be recording the biometrics of all the detainees who are from neighboring Myanmar. It may be mentioned that the biometrics will be shared with all the agencies, particularly the passport system, that is the External Affairs Ministry, as well as the Aadhaar Data Collection Center, and also with the Election Commission of India. The biometric collection procedure is a part of the government's initiative in order to ensure that the illegal immigrants or the detained foreigners do not make it to the voter list or get themselves an Aadhaar card or get a passport issued as an Indian citizen. We are bringing you visuals from inside the foreigners detention center in Sajiwa, and now the fingerprint of the illegal immigrants who have fled to India from Myanmar are being collected. You can see the procedure. The NCRB officials who are here are closely monitoring the situation, and they are guiding the inmates as well as the officials of Manipur Jail Services and the Home Department of Manipur on how to record the fingerprints. Since the electronic fingerprint recording system has not been set up yet in this particular detention center, it is being collected through ink. Special ink has been brought in, and this special flawless fingerprint ink will record the fingerprints of all the inmates, of all the 103. There are 104 inmates in this detention center, of which 103 will be recording their fingerprints.
On news from Bengal, where a Panchayat poll Trinamool Congress winning candidate has been killed in South 24 Parganas district. He was murdered after bullets were fired at him. 2 others have been injured. The police are suspecting a land dispute angle.
It's been more than 15 days since West Bengal went for Panchayat elections. But violence is still being reported in some parts of the state. Now, a Panchayat poll TMC winning candidate has been killed in South 24 Parganas district. Maimur Gharami, the TMC winning candidate in Arjunpur area, was murdered after bullets were fired at him, injuring 2 others. While police suspect land dispute angle in the case, and 4 people have been detained so far. Union Minister Anurag Thakur, who is on a Bengal visit, blamed TMC-ruled state government for deteriorating law and order situation.
अरे मणिपुर तो चले गए, मणिपुर से कई गुना ज्यादा घटनाएं बंगाल में हुई। तो कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेताओं से मैं पूछता हूं, कहां है आपकी आत्मा? अरे अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी, राहुल गांधी जी, सोनिया गांधी जी कभी बंगाल भी आएंगे? नहीं तो यहाँ की जनता कहेगी जब हम मर रहे थे, जब मारपीट हो रही थी, तब कांग्रेस के नेता यहाँ नजर नहीं आए।
In no time, TMC hit out at BJP in response.
अनुराग ठाकुर आज कलकत्ता पहुंचे, तो यही वो मंत्री है ना जिन्होंने कहा था गोली मारो डैश 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 देश के गद्दारों को। इनको तो जेल में रहना चाहिए था, इनको तो जेल में होना चाहिए था, लेकिन क्योंकि वो बीजेपी में है, वो क्यों जेल में जाएंगे? और भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एमपीज और ये केंद्रीय मंत्री आ जाते हैं बंगाल में वायलेंस है, बंगाल में संत्रास है, ये सब बातों को लेके इसको प्रचार करके वो क्या कर रहे हैं, कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि मीडिया की नजर को घुमाएं।
Given the fact that West Bengal witnessed bloodbath during Panchayat polls, claiming more than 50 lives, the question prevails, who is responsible for invoking violence in West Bengal? Bureau Report for Republic TV.
Amity School of Communication has been ranked among India's top 5 mass comm institutes for the last 3 years by India Today, a testimony to its most high-tech studios, senior professionals as faculty and placements in leading media organizations. To apply, visit amity.edu.
You could not jump from 5 meters. So he said that let me jump from 30,000 feet. ऐसे कुछ हुआ?
डर बहुत लगता था, मैं बहुत रोती थी वो बोर्ड पे, बहुत बार धक्के भी मारे लोगों ने स्विमिंग पूल में जंप करने के लिए। मैं न्यूजीलैंड गई थी एंड आई रिमेंबर द डेट 17 जनवरी 2019 सुबह 7:30 बजे। आई वाज द फर्स्ट वन इन द लोड एंड आई जंप्ड ऑन माय ओन 13,000 फीट से। ओपन माय ओन पैराशूट अलॉन्ग विद 2 इंस्ट्रक्टर्स।
कैसे लगा आपको जब आप पहले मुंबई की हैं आप और मुंबई से आप पहुंची एकेडमी?
मैं तभी पुशअप्स वगैरह मारती थी। मैंने जाते ही मेरे एक सीनियर बोला आप एक पुशअप कर पाओगे। मैंने डेमो टाइप 20 पुशअप किए थे तभी। पहले दिन पे मैम ने हर कैडेट को मेरे को दिखाया, देखो पुशअप्स करती है। सेकेंड डे से जो शेड्यूल टाइट हो गया था, हेक्टिक शेड्यूल था जो सुबह 4 बजे से रात को 10 बजे तक चलता था, और उसके बाद जो अनऑफिशियल पनिशमेंट्स एंड ऑल चलती थी, इट इज़ ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट बॉल गेम। मतलब आप सोच के कुछ और जाते हो और वहाँ होता कुछ और।
टेररिस्ट अटैक था
सर।
आप उस समय कहाँ पे थी? आपने क्या देखा? आंखों देखी?
सर मैं JNK में पोस्टेड थी फ्रॉम 2018 to 2020।
Udupi filming controversy is getting bigger, and the latest development today, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in Karnataka has assured strict action in the case, asking the BJP not to politicize the matter. This comes days after his Home Minister G. Parameshwara tried to downplay the entire incident, calling it prank or child's play. But there's anger on the streets and it's unending for the last few days. Protests to show down, the BJP is upping the ante. Here's how the story is playing out.
The Udupi filming controversy is only getting bigger. The BJP has been protesting against the arrest of one of its workers who questioned the state over the action in Udupi case. The Chief Minister has said that this case cannot be given a communal color.
ಈಗಾಗಲೇ FIR ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಕಾನೂನು ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ನಾನು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. FIR ಇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಾನೂನು ರೀತಿ ಏನೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಬಿಜೆಪಿಯವರು ಎಣದ ಮೇಲೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಮಾಡೋರು ಅವರು.
In Udupi, some students who took a stand on the filming controversy were subjected to violent, vicious online abuse.
Now it's scaring for us also to give this statement and to come in front of the media, because they are commenting like that in the social media. So they are commenting vulgarly about girls. What's happening with them to troll about girls? Why they are doing this? We want the reason why they are doing this. We just told what has happened that day in the college, but we are not lying anything. They have to obey that, and they should not comment like that. They are doing communism like this. It's about the communism. Why they are trolling like that, we don't know about that.
The magistrate court has granted anticipatory bail to 3 accused female students. The accused's lawyer calls it a minor incident.
So now you are the lawyer who is representing these 3 suspects in the Udupi filming incident. What do you have to state in this particular regard, and on what grounds were the bail granted?
ನೋಡಿ ಸುಮೋಟೋ ಕೇಸು ದಾಖಲು ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಪೊಲೀಸರು. ಓಕೆ, ಇವರು ಏನು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಬಾಧಿತ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಇದ್ದಾಳಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್, ಅವಳು ಈವರೆಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಸುಮೋಟೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ತಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟ್ರು, ಇನ್ನು ಇದು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮುಗಿಯುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕರಣವನ್ನ, ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಪ್ರಕರಣವನ್ನ ಇವರು ರಾಜಕೀಯವಾಗಿ ಮೈಲೇಜ್ ತಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ಗೆ ತಲೆಬಾಗಿ ಪೊಲೀಸರು ಸುಮೋಟೋ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಕೊಂಡ್ರು.
But such an incident has happened is what even the college administration is also saying, and at the same point of time even the police now agree to the fact that such an incident had happened.
ಇರ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದಿಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ, ಅದು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಅಪಿಯರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವುದು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಂತ. ಹೌದಾ? ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಸ್ಟಡಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್. ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಟಾ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಈಗಿನ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಹೌದಾ?
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ರಿಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಏನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಅಕ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಲೇಡಿ, ಅವರು ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ ಸುಳ್ಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಯಾ ಸತ್ಯ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಾಳೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಕೇಸ್. ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೇಷನ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಪ್ರಕರಣ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಏನಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಈಗಿನ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಡಿಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಷ್ಟು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಹೌದಾ?
ಓಕೆ.
ಸೊ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಇದನ್ನ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನ ಭೇದಿಸುವಂತ ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.
The political fight is refusing to die down, and the Udupi controversy continues to be a burning issue in Karnataka. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Political controversy in Tamil Nadu, where the BJP has released what it calls DMK Files Part 2, alleging that at least 9 ministers are involved in corruption, and they put a number to it, saying it's 5,600 crore corruption, 3 scams. The DMK has hit back at the BJP, questioning the Home Minister's visit. The Home Minister was there, flagging off that Padayatra with Annamalai, and they're calling it Padayatra versus Pavayatra. Here's a look of what is happening there.
A mega political face-off has erupted in Tamil Nadu a day after BJP launched this mega Padyatra. And also after Union Home Minister alleged corruption under DMK regime in the state.
मगर मैं आपको बताता हूं स्टालिन, हमारे नेता अन्नामलाई ने सिर्फ एक ट्वीट किया और आपकी डीएमके सरकार की नींव हिल गई, नींव.
Hitting out at BJP, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has questioned Union Home Minister's visit to the state.
தம்பி உதயநிதி பேசுறபோது சொன்னார, நேற்று உள்துறை அமைச்சர் மாண்புமிகு அமித்ஷா தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு வந்தார். நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தல் வருது இல்ல, இனிமேல் இது போல ஒன்றிய அமைச்சர்கள் அடிக்கடி வருவாங்க. அமித்ஷா அவர்கள் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்காக ஒன்றிய அரசோட புதிய திட்டம் தொடங்கி வைக்க வந்தாரா, இல்ல ஏற்கனவே அறிவிச்ச மதுரை எய்ம்ஸ் மருத்துவமனையை திறந்து வைக்க வந்தாரா? இல்ல, ஏதோ பாத யாத்திரையை தொடங்கி வைக்க வந்திருக்கிறார். அது பாத யாத்திரையா இல்ல. குஜராத்தில் 2002ஆம் ஆண்டும் இப்போ மணிப்பூர்ல நடந்த பாவங்களுக்கு மன்னிப்பு கேட்கிற பாவ யாத்திரை. அது பாத யாத்திரை இல்ல, பாவ யாத்திரை.
According to BJP, Stalin has been rattled off to witnessing overwhelming response to its yatra.
This yatra is against the corruption and the dynastic politics. If you look at whole of our country, if you look at where corruption and dynastic politics started, it comes to DMK. So this is the land where DMK is also ruling now, is the ruling party. We want to take it everywhere. This is also an opportunity for us, along with our National Democratic Alliance leaders, to reach across Tamil Nadu, to reach out to our cadres at the booth level, Shakti Kendra level, prepare for the Lok Sabha election.
The man who is leading the yatra has even reiterated his corruption charge against DMK.
we have released DMK Part 1 files close to 1,30,000 crore of 7-8 people's loot. And against Mr. Udayanidhi Stalin, the former finance minister, PTR, when he was the sitting finance minister, he gave a certificate that this family has amazed 30,000 crore, which even Mr. Karnanidhi couldn't amaze. Now what did they do? They removed the finance minister, made him some other portfolio, and now he is talking of corruption.
Meanwhile, with holding a 6-month-long Padyatra before 2024 polls, the BJP is going all out to make inroads in Tamil Nadu. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
अरे मणिपुर तो चले गए, मणिपुर से कई गुना ज्यादा घटनाएं बंगाल में हुई। तो कांग्रेस के वरिष्ठ नेताओं से मैं पूछता हूं, कहां है आपकी आत्मा? अरे अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी, राहुल गांधी जी, सोनिया गांधी जी कभी बंगाल भी आएंगे? नहीं तो यहां की जनता कहेगी जब हम मर रहे थे, जब मारपीट हो रही थी, तब कांग्रेस के नेता यहां नजर नहीं आए।